The whole world is suffering. Everyone is in panic and people are having questions for astrologers, for jyotishis, that what is their explanation of this moment? Why this crisis came? Why the humanity is suffering today? Is it a act of God? Is nature doing all this? Is Corona a nature-made, a natural virus, or it is engineered by humans? Is China responsible for this, or China is itself a victim? When we will get relief from coronavirus? And is it the starting of end of this universe, end of our world? These all questions are blocking your mind or not letting you relax in the home. So today I will try to give you some logic, some facts. Based on that, you can analyze and understand by yourself that what it is, how it happened, and what is going to happen. Use logic always. Rishi, a scholar, a seer, a sage, is the one who uses logic for everything. Even his or her emotions are controlled by logic. Even the emotions. Then only you become a great human. Either it's Corona or some other threat. As a jyotish, I always recommend everyone to be more logical and practical. So today, let's start analyzing coronavirus threat and jyotish. First of all, there are many rumors, many confusions that which planet is causing it. First, that question, I have a simple answer, simple explanation. Corona is affecting the whole world. It is a virus which is invisible, you cannot see. It is not a warrior with a sword or a gun or a bomb or a missile coming to you. So Mars cannot be responsible for that. It is not someone spreading the wrong knowledge and corrupting you. So it is not Jupiter. It is not some disease spreading. Why I said it is not a disease spreading? Saturn is involved, right? We all can see it is a disease which is affecting our lungs and throat. But it is not some old disease. Saturn represents disease, but old diseases. Whereas Rahu represents an uncurable disease which you cannot find the source, like allergies, immunity issues, infections. They all are represented by Rahu and Ketu. So here, first of all, we have to understand what kind of problem it is. It is a disease which we do not actually know the source. We cannot, if 10 people are standing with us, we cannot analyze who is infected and who is not. There is no kit actually available to do that perfectly with 100% accuracy. And that is why the significator is Rahu. It is a disease which is spreading from one to another, continuously affecting the lungs and throat specifically. So the third house, and third house also represents your sahas, your courage. Immunity is getting affected. You are feeling dull, you are feeling low. The third house should be involved in this. Now, to understand this, I did some case studies because jyotish is a science of patterns. For example, if one person has bad relation with the spouse and gets divorced, that is one thing. Okay, it happens. People, they do not mix up well. That happens, a human thing. But again the person get married and again get divorced. Okay, still we can give some justification. But still we see a pattern. First it happened, again it happened. Then again we see the same thing happening the third time. Now we know it is not a human thing, there is some psychological pattern in it. That is how we understand things from an astrology point of view, from a point of view of jyotish. Here, when I analyzed it, I saw that there was another pandemic. Today, when this pandemic happened in 2020, there is this conjunction we see that Rahu is in Ardra Nakshatra in Gemini sign, which is the third sign, represents throat and lungs and communication. And Ketu is in Mula in the 9th house. And Jupiter and Saturn are with Ketu there. Now, if all these planets are responsible for that, then it should have been the same conjunction before. In 1918, there was a Spanish flu, which that time the conjunction was Rahu was in Mula in the 9th house and Ketu was in Ardra Nakshatra, reverse of Corona, okay? And Jupiter and Saturn were not involved in that conjunction at that time. Spanish flu killed almost 50 million people, like 1/3 of the population of that time, almost 1/3 population. So you can understand the gravity of situation here. Now, one thing we know for sure that Rahu, Ketu, 3rd house and 9th house are responsible, especially Ardra and Mula Nakshatra. Now, when I dig deep into history, then I won't go too deep, but last 20 years when I studied, 30 years I would say, in last 30 years, there have been the same conjunction and how it affected. Just try to understand and try to focus with me. In 1991, there was the same conjunction as the time of Spanish flu, means Ketu was in Rahu's nakshatra in 3rd house in Ardra and Rahu was in Mula in Ketu's nakshatra in the 9th house. At that time in 1991, if you remember correctly, there were many terrorist attacks in Europe. Europe was the prime target, okay. In India, there were militant attacks. Many groups came, many terrorist groups, and they attacked the nation on a big level. There were Persian Gulf War. And let me take you back to 1918. In 1918, the main attack was, the target was Europe first. From Europe it spreaded in the whole world, okay. So again, in 1918 also we see that Europe was the target, and here also we see that major damage happened in Europe. In 2001, there was the same conjunction as today, as 2020 we are seeing that Rahu was in own nakshatra in Ardra and Ketu was in Mula nakshatra in its own nakshatra, and at that time again we see that 9/11 happened in USA. In India there were Gujarat riots, Hindu-Muslim riots, and many people were killed in those riots. In Europe again there were terrorist attacks as well as, and now again we see that the source, if you link, they go to Islam and from there they go to China, okay. Again the same thing, you can do all the research and make your thesis based on that, but at the conclusion you will see that the roots, the main roots were in Islamic countries, and from there they have the connection directly to China. In 2010 again we had the reversal, just like 1991. In 2010 again in Europe, in Gulf, in India, everywhere we see terrorist attacks on a big level. Then again 2020 we have now in the same nakshatra, okay. So one time when it's going reverse in the each other's nakshatra, then terror attacks are there, but what pattern you will notice, that whenever reversal is happening, means Ketu is going to Rahu's nakshatra and Rahu going to Ketu's nakshatra, that time the planning is happening. Means there are attacks, but also they are putting the seed into the ground for the major attack. And when actually the conjunction comes, Rahu goes to nakshatra Ardra, the nakshatra of destruction, the nakshatra which we say connected to Rudra, the destroyer, the destruction, the tears. And Ketu is in Mool nakshatra. At that time the actual disaster happens. The same way, in 2010, the Chinese started working with Islamic terrorist scientists from Arab, and they started building this virus by using from Spanish flu, the flu updated in various forms, either HIV, Ebola. The same virus is moving from animals one to another generation and updating itself. But then in 2010, humans decided to interfere with that cycle. They started reprogramming it. And after 10 years of their terror work, they are done with it and now they choose to attack. Can't be a coincidence that whenever Rahu and Ketu are taking this position, every time, again and again, same disharmony is coming in existence. There are tears everywhere we can see. Now, some more points I would like to discuss here. First of all, either Spanish flu. If you dig deep into the story of Spanish flu, the history of Spanish flu, you will find out that Spanish flu was a virus which started in China. From there, on purpose, Chinese people who were infected with the virus, they were sent to Europe and they spreaded the virus there. Again, in 2020, you see the same thing happening. Every time, two names are coming. One is Islamic terrorist, the whole community which is working day and night to destroy the world. And second, China. The two names, two communities are coming in radar again and again with every attack. Because of the time shortage, I am not discussing everything. You can do research, you have Google, you have all the information. Just write down the years and dates and you do your own research. And you will understand the bigger picture there. What is actually happening behind the scene? Every time, the China is the source, Muslims are the carriers, and they are threatening the whole world again. This is about now. Before I tell you when coronavirus is going to stop, let me make you two predictions today. If you are living a life with a lot of comfort and thinking that you have many loans, you do not have a house, you do not have savings for future, you spend lavishly for luxuries in your life, this is the time when you actually awake and see the future. Again in 2028, just after 8 years from today, you will see the same connection will repeat when Ketu will be in Ardana Nakshatra and Rahu will be in Mula Nakshatra. And the Hitler will rise again. Again there will be terrorist organizations, again there will be terror attacks. The economy will fail. 2020 coronavirus, if you analyze it wisely with the facts, in China it was designed after the labor of 10 years. But no intelligence organization, either USA, UK, Russia, Japan, India, no organization was able to find about it. This is when we understand our limitations. We cannot rely on government or intelligence organizations. A country is working for 10 years building such a deadly virus to threaten the world. Intelligence organizations are sleeping. And in those 10 years, after making it perfect to attack, China first spread it into the nation, into Wuhan, just one state. Not in the nation, just one state. And all of a sudden they control it. there is a plague, epidemic, and you become God and quickly you control it. Sounds like a movie? Yeah, it is. In China, they are doing a shooting of a movie, a comedy one actually, horror comedy. Then they sent Chinese people to Europe to spread it. From there, then they sent people to USA, India, and other parts of the world. And then, in India, if I specifically talk about India, what is there happening? Okay. No. Just for a while, I want you to leave the world and come to India. India has a Taurus rising, and in the first house, in ascendant, there is Rahu, and in second house, there are Mars and Moon. Now, if you just focus there, on Mars, Rahu is transiting. And Mars basically, when there is Mars in the second house, you will see the person will have dual faces. Like the person is crying in front of you, but laughing inside. The person is showing sympathy to you, but inside the person is planning, making a strategy. He is planning to cut all your roots. That is what you see in that time. And in India today, we see the same thing happening. And specifically, you will see the dual faces of the leaders at that time. Today, in the tough times, what you see that the Prime Minister is busy doing party politics. He's making sure that in next election, BJP wins with 100% votes. And for that, he's showing his strength by doing either clapping or lighting candles. Without using the mind, without thinking that the candles can create more asthmatic patients. The time can get worse. Because corona itself is affecting the lungs and throat, and candle will do the same again, and the world can die. The patients can increase. Secondly, what happened here that when Indian terrorist community learnt about coronavirus spreading outside, the same story happened in USA, okay? So, first you understand India and you will automatically understand about USA, what is happening and how it is happening. Now these Muslims, they invited Muslims from abroad who were positive of corona, and they did breeding, 8,000 people under one roof, hugging, touching, kissing each other, spreading the virus, eating together in one plate, spreading the virus. And then they instructed them to go to different corners of the nation and infect more people. That is why today India is suffering. But before they sent their people, actually coronavirus infection was in control in the nation. But all of a sudden, when these Muslims started going to different places and spreading the threat, it is out of control now. And then all of a sudden, the great leader, the great Prime Minister comes in front of public, and what he says, turn off all the lights and turn on the torch in balcony or on the door, and enjoy your day with corona. This is the leader, the responsible man, the man who is responsible for so many lives of civilians here, comes in front of public in these darkest times and asks us to show that how many people supports Modi, how many votes he has reserved for future. No comment on terror, no comment on Islam, no comment on these terrorist organizations. What is happening in India? And what is happening in USA? In starting, coronavirus is in control and all of a sudden it starts spreading out of nowhere. The videos are out there telling people that go out and enjoy its holiday time. The texts are spreading and CIA and all intelligence organizations are sleeping. All of a sudden the cases increase. Why it is happening? And the leader is silent. He is more concerned about capital, not the lives of civilians. This is what Rahu and Ketu has done. If you still have the hope that Sun getting exalted on 13th of April will be able to reduce the coronavirus infection, think again. Sun and Moon are powerless in front of Rahu Ketu, we all know that. Because Rahu Ketu are the one powerful enough to cause eclipse, to hide Sun and Moon. Sun can fight with anything, but with Rahu or Ketu, no. They both cannot. Only Guru can. And what is Guru? Guru is wisdom. In our subconscious mind, we all have Guru Tattva. In your previous lives, you all have connected with the Divine Guru. You all have learned from the Divine Guru. The teachings, that code is there in the subconscious. You just need to activate it. You need to be hygiene. You need to remain calm. You need to understand. You need to, when you are talking about terror, when you are talking about horror, when you are talking about pain, still at that time, your emotion should be in control and you should be talking out of logic. That is what Guru teaches us. That is how we fight with these times. Because the future is going to be worst. World War III has started. It was the first seed put by China. And now you will see in next 9 years, Islamic terrorist organizations will grab this seed designed by China, and first they will attack the Europe, then UK, and then USA, and then the whole world. This is coming. This is time when we prepare ourselves. Stop spending lavishly. Start saving. Stop eating non-veg and drinking alcohol. Start eating sattvic food, fruits, vegetables, something which is easily digestible, which improves your immunity. Be wise and get ready for this future coming for us.